Ifeoma's hands are shaking as she stares at the marriage certificate on the hospital tray table. Her signature isn't on it. His is. Park Solman sits in the chair by the window, legs crossed, watching her with the kind of calm that makes her want to scream. "You had no right," she says, and her voice cracks on the last word. He doesn't blink. "You weren't breathing. Someone had to sign." The fluorescent lights hum above her. Outside, Seoul spreads beneath them like a city made of glass and secrets. She looks at the ring on her finger, simple, silver, wrong. "This isn't real." "It's legally binding for the next 97 days, he says. "That makes it real enough." Her chest tightens. 97 days married to a stranger who looks at her like she's a problem he's already solved. The worst part isn't the ring or the paperwork or even the fact that she woke up in a foreign hospital with tubes in her arms. The worst part is that somewhere between the anger and the fear, there's a flicker of something else. Something that feels dangerously close to relief. And she hates him for it. Hi. Besties, thank you for joining us on this series. Where are you watching from? Kindly hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on your notification for more amazing stories on this channel. 2 days ago, Ifeoma didn't know Park Solman existed. 2 days ago, she was boarding a flight out of JFK with a carry-on full of work files and a body that had been screaming at her for months to stop. She ignored it. She always did. The headaches, the dizziness, the way her vision would blur at the edges when she stood too quickly, all of it got shoved down beneath deadlines and client meetings and the desperate need to prove she was indispensable. Her boss didn't care that she was running on 3 hours of sleep. Emmanuel didn't notice that she'd stopped answering his calls with anything more than one-word texts. Nobody noticed. So she stopped noticing too. The plane was half empty. She found her seat, 14A, and immediately regretted not upgrading to business class. Her body ached in ways that sleep couldn't fix anymore. She was about to close her eyes when he sat down beside her. Park Solman. Though she didn't know his name yet. She just knew he was the kind of man who wore a suit on a 14-hour flight and made it look intentional. Dark hair pushed back, sharp jawline, eyes that didn't bother pretending to care about anyone around him. He pulled out a laptop, ignored her completely, and started typing like the seat next to him was empty. Fine. She didn't want conversation anyway. But then his elbow crossed into her space. Just barely. Just enough. She shifted away. He didn't move. 5 minutes later, he did it again. "Excuse me," she said, her voice tight. He glanced at her. 1 second. Maybe less. Then back to his screen. "You're in my space," she added. "The armrest is shared," he said without looking up. His voice was low, clipped, American accented but shaped by something else underneath. "Then share it." He stopped typing. Turned his head just enough that she could see the irritation flicker across his face. "You want the armrest? Take it. I want you to stop acting like you own everything you touch." His smile was sharp enough to cut. "I usually do." She hated him instantly. Hated the arrogance, the coldness, the way he looked at her like she was noise he was choosing not to hear. She turned away, shoved her earbuds in, and decided he didn't exist. That lasted about 3 hours. Then exhaustion won. Her head dropped. She didn't mean for it to land on his shoulder. Didn't mean to fall asleep against a stranger who smelled like cedar and something expensive she couldn't name. But her body made the choice her mind couldn't, and the last thing she remembered was the hum of the engines and the feeling of finally letting go. When she woke up, she wasn't on the plane anymore. The ceiling above her was white. Sterile. The beeping of machines filled her ears before the pain registered, sharp, localized, wrapped around her ribs like a vice. She tried to sit up. A hand pressed her shoulder back down. "Don't move." His voice. That cold, clipped voice. She turned her head, and there he was. Park Solman. Still in his suit. still looking at her like she was a problem. What happened? Her throat felt like sandpaper. You stopped breathing mid-flight, he said, like he was recounting the weather. Collapsed. Paramedics met us on the ground. You'd been unconscious for 6 hours. Her mind scrambled to catch up. Stopped breathing. Collapsed. 6 hours. Where am I? Seoul. Private hospital. They wouldn't admit you without a legal guardian. Her stomach dropped. I know. That's why I signed the paperwork. The world tilted. What paperwork? He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a folded document. Set it on the table beside her. She didn't want to look. She looked anyway. Marriage certificate. Spouse, Park Seol-min, duration, 100 days. Legal guardian status, active. Her pulse spiked. The machine started beeping faster. You can't, this isn't, it was the only option, he said. Without it, they would have sent you back on the next flight. You wouldn't have survived the trip. So you married me? Her voice cracked into something high and brittle. Temporarily. It's a contract marriage. Legal in South Korea under medical emergency clauses. 100 days. After that, it dissolves automatically. You didn't ask me. You weren't conscious. You had no right. Her voice broke, and she hated the sound of it. Hated that he was still calm. Still in control. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, and for the first time, something shifted in his eyes. Something that wasn't indifference. You were dying, he said quietly. I wasn't going to let that happen. And there it was. The worst part. Not the anger or the violation or the ring on her finger. The worst part was that he meant it. She could see it in the way he looked at her, not with pity, but with certainty. Like saving her life was a decision he'd already made and didn't regret. She should have screamed. Should have demanded a lawyer, an annulment, anything. But her body was too tired, and her mind was too fractured, and all she could do was stare at the marriage certificate and wonder how her life had become someone else's choice. I want an annulment. Not possible. The contract is ironclad. If we terminate early, both of us face legal penalties. Fraud charges. Possible deportation for you. I didn't sign anything. I did. On your behalf. As your legal guardian. Her laugh came out bitter and broken. You trapped me. I saved you. Same thing. His jaw tightened. For a moment, she thought he might actually say something human. Instead, he stood. Straightened his jacket. You'll be discharged tomorrow. I've arranged a place for you to stay. I'm not staying with you. You don't have a choice. The contract requires cohabitation to maintain legal standing. If you're not living at my address, the marriage is void, and you lose your medical coverage. Your visa status becomes questionable. Do you want to risk that? She wanted to throw something at him. Wanted to scream until her voice gave out. But he was right. She was trapped. And he knew it. The apartment was nothing like she expected. It was too clean. Too expensive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Han River, furniture that looked like it belonged in a museum, a kitchen made of marble and steel that had probably never been used. Seol-min set her bag down in the guest room and handed her a key. This is yours. The code to the front door is your birthday. How do you know my birthday? It was on your passport. Of course it was. He moved through the space like he owned it, which he did, but there was something else underneath. A tension in his shoulders. A sharpness in the way his eyes scanned the room before he turned his back to anything. I work unusual hours, he said. You won't see me much. There's food in the fridge. The housekeeper comes twice a week. Don't answer the door for anyone else. Why not? Because I said so. And then he left. Just like that. No explanation. No contract terms discussion. Just gone. Ifeoma stood in the middle of the guest room and tried to remember how to breathe. The bed was too big. The silence was too loud. And somewhere in the back of her mind, a question started forming that she didn't want to ask. Who exactly did she just marry? The first week was a war of silence. Solman left before she woke up and came home after she went to bed. She only knew he'd been there by the small signs, a coffee cup in the sink, a jacket draped over the back of the couch, the faint smell of cedar lingering in the hallway. She tried calling Emmanuel. He answered on the third ring, voice bright and warm and everything Solman wasn't. Baby, where are you? You haven't been answering my texts. She almost told him. Almost said, I'm in Seoul. I collapsed on a plane. I'm married to a stranger. But the words stuck in her throat. I'm fine. Just busy with work. When are you coming home? Home. The word felt foreign now. Soon. I'll let you know. She hung up before he could ask more questions. That night, she couldn't sleep. Her ribs still ached. Her head felt heavy. She got up, padded into the kitchen, and found Solman sitting at the counter with a glass of whiskey and a pile of documents in front of him. He looked up when she entered. You should be resting. I can't sleep. He gestured to the seat across from him. She didn't sit. What do you do? She asked. Business. What kind? The kind that pays for hospitals and apartments and marriage contracts. His smile was sharp. She hated how much she wanted to know more. Are you in trouble? That made him pause. He set his glass down slowly, eyes narrowing. Why would you ask that? Because men in suits keep showing up at odd hours. Because you don't answer questions. Because you look at people like you're deciding whether or not they're a threat. He stood. Walked around the counter until he was close enough that she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. You don't need to worry about my business, Ifeoma. The way he said her name, low and careful and possessive, sent a shiver down her spine. I'm your wife. Temporarily. That makes it my business. No, he said quietly. It makes you my responsibility. There's a difference. Days bled into each other. Ifeoma's body healed slowly, too slowly. She could walk without feeling like her ribs might crack, but the exhaustion never fully lifted. Solman didn't hover. Didn't ask how she was feeling. But every morning, there was tea by her bedside. The kind she liked. No cilantro in any of the meals the housekeeper left. Her favorite fruits in the fridge, even though she'd never told him what they were. It was unsettling. He remembered things she didn't say. Noticed things she didn't show. And somehow, that made him more dangerous than the men in dark suits who showed up at his door. She started testing him. Small things. She'd leave a book on the counter, he'd move it to the shelf where it belonged. She'd forget to lock her bedroom door, he'd lock it from the outside before he left. She'd stay up too late working, he'd turn off the lights in the hallway until she went to bed. He was always watching. Even when he wasn't there. One night, she woke to voices in his office. Low. Tense. She pressed her ear to the door and caught fragments, handling it quietly. Too much exposure, I don't care what it costs. Make the problem disappear. Her blood turned cold. The next morning, she confronted him in the kitchen. What do you do, Solman? He didn't look up from his coffee. I already told you. No. You didn't. You deflected. There's a difference. He set his cup down. Looked at her with eyes that gave nothing away. Why does it matter? Because I need to know who I'm living with. You're living with someone who keeps you safe. That's all you need to know. Safe from what? His silence was answer enough. That afternoon, she did something reckless. She went through his office. Not deep, just the surface. Papers on his desk, files stacked too neatly, a phone buzzing with messages in Korean she couldn't read. But there was one document in English. A contract. A real one. For property acquisition. In Gangnam. Signed by someone named Choi Min-jae. And at the bottom, in red ink, payment received. Debt cleared. What kind of business dealt in cleared debts? She heard the front door open. Her heart slammed into her throat. She shoved the paper back, darted out of the office, and was halfway to her room when Solman's voice stopped her cold. Ifeoma. She froze. Turned. He stood in the hallway, suit jacket slung over one arm, eyes locked on hers. Were you in my office? Her mind raced. Lie. Tell the truth. Run. I was looking for a pen. There are pens in the kitchen. I didn't know that. He walked toward her slowly. Each step deliberate. Controlled. When he stopped, he was close enough that she could see the tension in his jaw. Don't go in there again. Why? What are you hiding? Everything. The word hung between them like a blade. If you're doing something illegal, I am. Her breath caught. He didn't even hesitate. Didn't try to lie. Just said it like it was fact. Then I can't stay here. Yes. You can. You can't force me, I'm not forcing you. I'm telling you the truth. You asked for it. Now you have it. His voice dropped lower. I run a network. Money laundering. Property acquisition. Asset protection. Some of it legal. Most of it not. I've built an empire on things most people don't want to know about. And I'm very, very good at it. She should have been terrified. Should have run. But all she could think was, he's telling me the truth. Finally. Why did you marry me? She whispered. Because you needed saving. That's not a reason. His eyes darkened. It's the only reason that mattered. The air between them shifted. Something unspoken. Something dangerous. She stepped back. He let her. But the look in his eyes stayed with her long after he walked away. That night, Emmanuel called again. I miss you, Ife. When are you coming back? She stared at the phone. At the ring on her finger. At the life she used to have slipping further out of reach. I don't know, she said. And for the first time, she wasn't sure she wanted to. Week 3. The cracks started showing. Solman came home with blood on his knuckles. Not a lot. Just enough. Ifeoma was in the living room when he walked in, and she saw him try to hide his hand behind his back. Too late. What happened? Nothing. That's not nothing. She crossed the room before he could stop her, grabbed his wrist, and pulled his hand into the light. Split knuckles. Bruised fingers. Jesus, Solman, it's handled. What's handled? Who did you hit? He pulled his hand back, jaw tight. Someone who needed hitting. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. She wanted to push. Wanted to demand he tell her everything. But the look on his face stopped her. Not anger. Exhaustion. The kind that came from carrying too much for too long. Let me clean it, she said quietly. He hesitated. Then nodded. They sat at the kitchen counter. She dabbed antiseptic on his knuckles while he watched her with that unreadable expression he always wore. You don't have to do this, he said. I know. Then why are you? Because somewhere between the hospital and the tea and the locked doors, she'd stopped seeing him as just a stranger. She didn't say that. Instead, she pressed a bandage over the worst of the cuts and said, because you saved my life. Maybe I'm returning the favor. His hand caught hers before she could pull away. You don't owe me anything, Ifeoma. The way he said her name made her chest tighten. Maybe I want to. His thumb brushed over her knuckles. Once. Barely. Then he let go and stood. Get some sleep. He was gone before she could respond. That night, she lay in bed and tried to remember why she was supposed to hate him. Tried to remember Emmanuel's face. Tried to remember what normal felt like. But all she could think about was the way Solman had looked at her when she bandaged his hand. Like she was something fragile he didn't know how to hold. The next morning, everything changed. She woke to shouting. Loud. Aggressive. Coming from the living room. She threw on a robe and ran out to find Solman standing between her and a man she didn't recognize, tall, sharp-suited, fury radiating off him in waves. You think you can just take what's mine? The man spat in Korean. Solman's voice was ice. It was never yours. I'll destroy you. You can try. The man's eyes flicked to Ifeoma. Something cold and calculating slid across his face. Is this her? The wife? Solman moved. Fast. He stepped directly into the man's line of sight, blocking her completely. Leave. Now. The man smiled. Interesting. And then he was gone. The door slammed. The silence that followed was suffocating. Ifeoma's hands were shaking. Who was that? No one. Solman, I said it's handled. But his voice was different now. Strained. She saw it then. The fear he was trying to hide. Not for himself. For her. Did I just become a target? She whispered. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. If you're wondering what happens when you wake up legally bound to a dangerous man you barely know, keep watching. Because the next 48 hours will change everything Ifeoma thought she understood about survival, trust, and the thin line between protection and possession. That night, Solman didn't come home. Ifeoma waited. Paced. Checked her phone 100 times. Nothing. At 3 a.m., she heard the door open. She ran into the hallway and found him leaning against the wall, breathing hard, suit jacket gone, blood, not his this time, on his shirt. Oh my God, I'm fine. You're not fine. She reached for him, but he flinched. Actually flinched. Don't. Solman, I said don't. His voice cracked, and for the first time, she saw it. The fracture. The weight he carried that was finally too heavy. She stepped forward anyway. Slowly. Carefully. Until she was close enough to touch him. He didn't move. She pressed her palm to his chest, felt his heart racing beneath her hand. You don't have to do this alone, she said quietly. His eyes closed. Yes. I do. Why? Because everyone I let close ends up hurt. Her throat tightened. I'm still here. He opened his eyes. Looked at her like she was the most dangerous thing in the room. That's what scares me. And then he kissed her. It wasn't gentle. Wasn't careful. It was desperation and fear and something too big to name. She kissed him back. Let herself fall into it. Into him. When they finally broke apart, his forehead rested against hers, both of them breathing hard. This is a mistake, he whispered. I know. You should leave. I know. But neither of them moved. Because somewhere between the anger and the fear and the 100 days counting down, they'd stopped being strangers. And that was the most dangerous thing of all. Morning came too fast. Ifeoma woke tangled in sheets that smelled like cedar and regret. Solman was already gone. No note. No explanation. Just the ghost of his warmth on the pillow beside hers and the ring on her finger that felt heavier than it did yesterday. She sat up, ribs aching, and tried to piece together what happened. The kiss. The way he'd looked at her like she was both salvation and destruction. The way she'd let herself believe, just for a moment, that this could be something real. Her phone buzzed. Emmanuel. Again. I'm flying out to see you. Her stomach dropped. No. Not now. You don't have to do that. I miss you, Ife. It's been almost a month. I need to see you. She closed her eyes. Tried to find the version of herself that would have been happy about this. That version felt like a stranger now. I'll let you know when I'm free. I already booked the flight. I land in 3 days. The call ended. The walls closed in. Solman didn't come home that night. Or the next. By the third day, Ifeoma was pacing the apartment like a caged animal, checking her phone, checking the door, checking the news for stories about bodies found in the Han River. Nothing. At 11 p.m., she heard his key in the lock. She was across the room before the door fully opened. Where the hell have you been? He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Working. For 3 days straight? Yes. That's not an answer, it's the only one you're getting. The same line. The same wall. She wanted to scream. You kissed me. His jaw tightened. I know. And then you disappeared. I know. Do you care at all? About any of this? He dropped his bag. Turned to face her fully. And the look in his eyes made her breath catch. I care too much. The admission hung between them. Raw. Unguarded. Then why? Because caring makes you vulnerable. And vulnerable people die in my world. She stepped closer. I'm not afraid of you. You should be. Why? Because I'm not a good man, Ifeoma. I've done things that would make you run if you knew. I've hurt people. Destroyed lives. And I'd do it all again if it meant keeping you safe. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Safe from what? From me. The confession broke something open. She saw it in his face, the war he'd been fighting since the moment she woke up in that hospital. You think you're the danger? I know I am. You're wrong. She closed the distance between them. The danger is pretending this isn't happening. Ifeoma, tell me you don't feel it. His hands clenched at his sides. I can't. Then stop running. For a moment, she thought he'd walk away. Push her back. Rebuild the wall. Instead, he pulled her against him, hard, desperate, like he'd been holding his breath for weeks and finally let himself drown. This ends badly, he said against her hair. I know. You'll hate me before the 100 days are up. Maybe. She pulled back just enough to meet his eyes. But I'd rather hate you for something real than regret never knowing. His laugh was broken. You're going to destroy me. Good. Then we're even. They didn't sleep. They talked instead, about things that mattered and things that didn't. She told him about growing up in Lagos, about moving to the US with dreams bigger than her bank account, about working herself into the ground because stopping meant admitting she was afraid of failing. He told her about Seoul. About inheriting a business he never wanted from a father who saw him as a tool, not a son. About building an empire on blood and strategy because it was the only language his world understood. Do you regret it? She asked. Every day. Then why keep doing it? Because walking away means someone worse takes over. At least this way, I control the damage. She understood that. The weight of responsibility. The fear of what happens if you let go. What happens when the 100 days end? His hand found hers in the dark. I don't know. Will you let me go? Silence. Then, I don't know if I can. Day 43. Emmanuel landed in Seoul. Ifeoma's phone lit up with his messages, just landed. Where should I meet you? Can't wait to see you. I got us dinner reservations. She stared at the screen until the words blurred. Solman was in his office. She could hear him on the phone, voice low and controlled, handling whatever crisis demanded his attention now. She should tell him. Should warn him that her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend? She didn't even know anymore, was here. But the words stuck in her throat. That night, she met Emmanuel at a restaurant in Itaewon. He looked the same. Warm eyes. Easy smile. Safe. You look different, he said, pulling her into a hug. Tired, maybe. No. Different. He pulled back, studied her face. What's going on, Ife? Nothing. Just work. For a month? She forced a smile. It's complicated. They ordered food. Made small talk. He told her about his job, about missing her, about the apartment they were supposed to move into together when she got back. Every word felt like a door closing. When are you coming home? He asked. She looked down at her hands. The ring was gone, she'd taken it off before leaving the apartment. But she could still feel its weight. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Emmanuel, are you seeing someone? The question cut through the noise of the restaurant. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Tried to find a lie that wouldn't make everything worse. It's not like that. Then what's it like? She couldn't answer. Because the truth, I'm married to a man I'm falling for who lives in a world I don't understand, sounded insane. Emmanuel's face hardened. I flew halfway across the world for you. I didn't ask you to. You didn't have to. I thought. He trailed off. Shook his head. I thought you loved me. I did. Did. He laughed bitterly. Past tense. Emmanuel, forget it. He stood. Threw money on the table. When you figure out what you want, let me know. He left. She sat there in the noise and the lights and the wreckage of a life she used to want and felt nothing but relief. She came home to find Solman waiting. He was standing by the window, glass of whiskey in hand, watching the city lights like they held answers. How was dinner? She stopped. How did you know? I always know. Not accusatory. Just fact. She set her bag down. Walked over to stand beside him. He's gone. Good. You don't sound surprised. I'm not. He turned to face her. You were never going back to him. How do you know? Because you look at me the way you're supposed to look at someone you love. Her breath caught. Solman, I'm not asking you to say it back. I'm just telling you I know. He set his glass down. Stepped closer. And I know that in 57 days, this contract ends. And I know I'm supposed to let you go. But I won't. That's not your choice. I'm making it mine. His hand cupped her face. You're mine, Ifeoma. Contract or not. Ring or not. The moment I signed those papers, you became mine. And I don't give back what's mine. She should have been angry. Should have pushed him away. Should have reminded him that she wasn't property. Instead, she kissed him. Let herself sink into the possessiveness and the danger and the absolute certainty that this man would burn the world down before he let her go. When they broke apart, she whispered, 57 days. 57 forevers. That night, they didn't talk about endings. But endings have a way of finding you anyway. Day 68. Ifeoma woke to shouting. She ran into the living room and found Solman surrounded by 3 men, all armed, all furious. You think you can just walk away? One of them spat. Solman's voice was ice. I'm not walking away. I'm consolidating. You're abandoning your territory. I'm protecting what matters. The man's eyes flicked to Ifeoma. Her. Leave. Now. Or what? You'll kill us? Solman smiled. If I have to. The tension snapped. One of the men moved, Solman moved faster. The sound of a gunshot cracked through the apartment. Ifeoma screamed. When the smoke cleared, Seoul was standing over the man, gun in hand, blood pooling on the marble floor. The other two men fled. Seoul turned to her. Are you hurt? She couldn't speak. Couldn't move. Couldn't stop staring at the body. Ifeoma. Are you hurt? No. Her voice came out broken. He crossed the room. Pulled her against him. I'm sorry you had to see that. You killed him. Yes. No hesitation. No regret. How many, she whispered. How many what? How many people have you killed? He pulled back. Met her eyes. Enough that one more doesn't matter. She should have run. Should have called the police. Should have done anything except what she did next. She grabbed his face and kissed him hard. Don't ever apologize for keeping me safe. His arms tightened around her. You're insane. I learned from the best. The body was gone within the hour. Cleaned. Erased. Like it never happened. But Ifeoma couldn't erase the image from her mind. Couldn't stop thinking about how easily Seoul had pulled the trigger. How calmly he'd handled the aftermath. She found him in his office later that night, staring at his laptop like it held the secrets of the universe. Do you regret it? She asked. No. Should I be afraid of you? He looked up. Yes. I'm not. I know. That's what scares me. She sat on the edge of his desk. What are you so afraid of? That you'll wake up one day and realize what I am. And you'll leave. What if I don't? Then you're more dangerous than I thought. She leaned forward. Good. I'd hate to be predictable. Day 79. 3 weeks left. Ifeoma woke to an empty bed and a note on the pillow. Had to handle something. Be back tonight. Don't answer the door for anyone. She should have listened. At 2 p.m., someone knocked. She checked the peephole. A woman. Mid-30s. Expensive clothes. Familiar face. She opened the door. Can I help you? The woman smiled. You must be Ifeoma. I'm Ji-woo. Seoul's ex-fiancé. The world tilted. The words hit like a punch. Ex-fiancé. Seoul never mentioned an ex. Never mentioned anyone. Ji-woo stepped inside without invitation, her heels clicking against the marble floor like a countdown. You look surprised. He didn't tell you about me? Ifeoma's throat tightened. He doesn't talk about his past. Of course he doesn't. That's very like him. Ji-woo walked through the apartment like she owned it, pausing at the window, trailing her fingers over the back of the couch. I lived here once. Before you. What do you want? Ji-woo turned, and her smile was sharp. To warn you. Seoul doesn't love. He possesses. There's a difference. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? I was engaged to him for 2 years. I know exactly who he is. He'll make you feel like you're the center of his world. Like you're the only thing that matters. And then, one day, you'll realize you're just another asset. Something he controls. That's not true. Isn't it? Ji-woo stepped closer. Why do you think he married you? Out of kindness? Seoul doesn't do anything without a reason. You were vulnerable. Dying. The perfect person to save. The perfect person to own. Ifeoma's hands clenched. Get out. I'm trying to help you. I don't need your help. Ji-woo's expression softened, almost pitying. You will. When the contract ends and he refuses to let you go. When you realize the papers don't matter because he'll never consider you free. That's when you'll understand. She left. The door closed. The apartment felt colder. When Seoul came home that night, Ifeoma was waiting. Who's Jiwoo? He froze. Where did you hear that name? She was here. Today. His jaw tightened. What did she say? That you don't love. You possess. He didn't deny it. That hurt more than she expected. Is it true? About Jiwoo? About everything. He set his bag down slowly. Crossed the room until he stood in front of her. Jiwoo and I were engaged. It ended badly. She wanted freedom. I wanted control. We were never going to work. And me? You're different. How? Because I didn't choose you strategically. I chose you because I couldn't walk away. Her chest ached. That sounds like possession. It is. His hand cupped her face. I'm not going to lie to you, Ifeoma. I am possessive. I do want control. But what I feel for you, he stopped. Took a breath. It's the closest I've ever come to something real. And when the contract ends, I'll ask you to stay. And if I say no? His eyes darkened. Then I'll let you go. Even if it kills me. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. But Jiwoo's words echoed, he'll never consider you free. Day 87. 13 days left. The tension was suffocating. Seolmin was quieter. More distant. Like he was already preparing for her to leave. Ifeoma spent her days wandering Seoul, trying to imagine a future that didn't include him. She couldn't. Every coffee shop reminded her of the mornings he'd leave tea by her bed. Every street corner reminded her of the night he'd stepped between her and a stranger who looked too long. Every breath reminded her that she was alive because he'd refused to let her die. She came home to find him in the kitchen, cooking. Actually cooking. You cook. When I want to. What's the occasion? He didn't look up. 13 days. The words hung heavy. She sat at the counter. Watched him move through the space with the same control he brought to everything. Are you afraid? She asked. Of what? That I'll leave. His hands stilled. Terrified. Why? Because I've never wanted something I couldn't control. And I can't control you. She stood. Walked around the counter until she was close enough to touch him. You don't have to control me, Seolmin. You just have to trust me. I don't know how to do that. Then learn. His laugh was broken. You make it sound easy. It's not. But it's worth it. He turned. Pulled her against him. What if I fail? Then we fail together. For the first time in weeks, he smiled. You're insane. You've said that before. It's still true. Day 91. 9 days left. Emmanuel called. I'm sorry for how I acted in Seoul. I was hurt. But I still love you. If you want to come home, I'll be here. She stared at the phone long after the call ended. Home. The word felt like a foreign language now. That night, Seolmin asked, what did he say? He wants me to come back. Do you want to? No. Relief flickered across his face. Good. But I don't know if I can stay here either. Why not? Because I don't know what this is. What we are. The contract ends in 9 days, and then what? We just keep going? Pretend the last 100 days weren't built on a medical emergency and a piece of paper? Yes. His answer was immediate. Certain. That's insane. So are you. We're a perfect match. She wanted to argue. Wanted to point out all the ways this was doomed. But she couldn't. Because he was right. Day 95. 5 days left. Ifeoma woke to voices in Seolmin's office again. She pressed her ear to the door. Liability, too much exposure, I don't care who he is. He's a threat. Clean it up. Quietly. Her blood turned to ice. She burst through the door. Who are you talking about? Solman looked up, phone still to his ear. I'll call you back. He hung up. Ifeoma, who's the liability? It doesn't concern you. Everything about you concerns me. He stood. It's handled. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. No. She crossed the room. No more walls. No more secrets. If we're doing this, if I'm staying, I need the truth. He stared at her. You won't like it. I don't care. He took a breath. There's a prosecutor. He's been investigating my network for months. Getting close. Too close. If he keeps digging, people die. My people. Including you. So you're going to kill him. I'm going to make sure he stops looking. That's the same thing. No. It's not. I can destroy his career without ending his life. But if he keeps pushing, I won't have a choice. Her stomach turned. How can you talk about this like it's business? Because it is. It's murder. It's survival. His voice rose. You think I want this? You think I enjoy making these calls? I hate it. But if I don't, someone else does. Someone with less restraint. Less mercy. So you're the lesser evil. Yes. She stepped back. I can't, then leave. The words cut through the air like glass. What? If you can't accept who I am, then leave. I won't stop you. Her hands shook. You said you'd let me go even if it killed you. I lied. His eyes were dark. Raw. I can't let you go, Ifeoma. I've tried. God knows I've tried. But every time I think about you walking out that door, something in me breaks. So if you want to leave, you'll have to fight me for it. Because I won't make it easy. She should have been terrified. Should have run. But all she felt was fury. You don't get to decide that. I already did. She shoved him. Hard. I'm not yours to keep. Yes. You are. He caught her wrists. Pulled her close. You've been mine since the moment I signed those papers. Since the moment you woke up and looked at me like I was worth saving. You're mine, Ifeoma. And I'm yours. And I don't care if that makes me a monster. It does. I know. His forehead pressed against hers. But you love me anyway. The truth slammed into her. She did. God help her, she did. I hate you for it. I know. This is never going to work. Probably not. We're going to destroy each other. Maybe. His lips brushed hers. But I'd rather burn with you than freeze without you. She kissed him. Hard. Desperate. Hating him and loving him and knowing there was no way out of this that didn't leave them both in pieces. Day 98. 2 days left. The prosecutor disappeared. Not dead. Just, gone. Relocated to a quiet position in Busan with a very generous severance package and a strong suggestion to retire early. Solman didn't tell her the details. She didn't ask. That night, they lay in bed, and he said, I need to tell you something. Her heart stopped. What? The contract. I didn't just sign it to save you. What do you mean? He turned to face her. I could have gotten you into the hospital another way. Medical visa. Emergency guardian who wasn't me. But I signed the marriage contract because... He trailed off. Because what? Because from the moment you sat next to me on that plane, I knew you were dangerous. I knew if I let myself care, I'd never recover. So I told myself it was strategic. Practical. Just a contract. But it wasn't. No. His hand found hers in the dark. It was selfish. I wanted an excuse to keep you close. To have a claim on you. Even if it was just on paper. Tears burned her eyes. You're an idiot. I know. You should have just asked me. Would you have said yes? She thought about it. About the woman she was 3 months ago, exhausted, dying, running from everything. No. See? But I'd say yes now. His breath caught. Ifeoma, I'd say yes now. To all of it. The mess. The danger. You. He pulled her against him. You're going to regret this. Probably. I'm going to make it worth it. You better. Day 99. 1 day left. Ifeoma woke to find Solomon already dressed, standing at the window with his phone pressed to his ear. His voice was low. Controlled. But there was something underneath it, something that sounded like fear. I understand. Yes. I'll handle it. He hung up. Stood there for a long moment, shoulders tight. What's wrong? She asked. He turned. The look on his face made her chest tighten. We need to talk. Those 4 words. The 4 words that never meant anything good. She sat up, pulling the sheet around herself. What happened? He crossed the room. Sat on the edge of the bed. There's been a complication. What kind of complication? The kind that means you're in danger. Her stomach dropped. From who? From everyone. He ran a hand through his hair. The network. The people I thought I controlled. They've decided you're a liability. Why? Because I've been consolidating. Pulling back. Protecting assets. And they think it's because of you. Is it? Yes. No hesitation. I've been building an exit strategy. A way out. For both of us. Her heart was pounding. You never said anything. Because I didn't want to give you hope until I was sure it could work. He met her eyes. But someone found out. And now they want you gone. Permanently. The room spun. How long have you known? 3 days. 3 days? Her voice rose. You've known for 3 days that someone wants me dead, and you didn't tell me? I was handling it. By lying to me? By keeping you safe. He stood. Started pacing. Do you think I wanted this? Do you think I wanted to bring you into this world and then watch it try to destroy you? I've been trying to protect you from the beginning. By keeping secrets? By keeping you alive. The words echoed. She stared at him. At the man she'd fallen for, who kept looking at her like she was something precious and breakable. What's the plan? She asked quietly. Tomorrow. The contract ends at midnight. We have documents ready. New identities. Money transferred to accounts they can't trace. We disappear. Where? Singapore. Then maybe Europe. Wherever we need to go to stay ahead of them. She processed this. You're giving up everything. No. He knelt in front of her. Took her hands. I'm choosing what matters. Your empire means nothing without you. Tears burned her eyes. Solomon, tomorrow night. Midnight. We walk out that door and we don't look back. Can you do that? She thought about Lagos. About the US. About Emmanuel and her old life and everything she'd built before she collapsed on that plane. Then she thought about tea by her bedside. About locked doors. About a man who killed to keep her safe. Yes, she whispered. I can do that. He kissed her. Soft. Gentle. Like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. One more day, he said. One more day. Day 100. The last day. Ifeoma spent the morning packing. Not much. Just essentials. Clothes. Documents. The few things that mattered. Seoul was in his office, making calls, burning bridges, severing ties. She could hear his voice through the door, calm, controlled, final. At noon, her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello? Ifeoma. Jiwoo's voice. Don't hang up. Her grip tightened on the phone. What do you want? To save your life. I don't need, you're leaving tonight. With Seoul. He thinks he has an exit strategy. Ice flooded her veins. How do you know that? Because I'm the one who told them. The world stopped. What? I warned you, Ifeoma. I told you he doesn't love. He possesses. And now he's trying to take you away from everything. Your life. Your identity. Your choice. He's protecting me. He's trapping you. New country. New name. No one to call. No way back. You'll be completely dependent on him. Is that what you want? Ifeoma's hands were shaking. You told them. You put a target on me. I gave you a way out. If you leave now, alone, they'll call off the hit. You can go back to the US. Back to your real life. Emmanuel's waiting. Your job's waiting. Everything you had before Seoul made himself the center of your world. I love him. Do you? Or do you love the idea of being saved? The question cut deep. Think about it, Jiwoo continued. In 6 months, will you still love him? When you're hiding in some foreign city, looking over your shoulder, completely isolated? Or will you resent him for taking everything from you? He's giving everything up for me. No. He's making you give everything up for him. There's a difference. The line went dead. Ifeoma stood there, phone in hand, world tilting. Everything in her screamed that Jiwoo was lying. Manipulating. But the question remained, was she? She found Seoul in his office. We need to talk. He looked up. Saw her face. What happened? Jiwoo called. His expression darkened. What did she say? That she's the one who told them. That you're not saving me, you're trapping me. He stood. Slowly. And you believe her? I don't know what to believe. Her voice cracked. In 8 hours, the contract ends. And you're asking me to leave everything behind. My country. My identity. My life. For what? To run forever? To be together. That's not enough. The words hung between them. His face went blank. Carefully blank. What are you saying? I'm saying I need to know this is real. That you're not just another man making decisions for me without asking what I want. I asked you yesterday. You told me yesterday. There's a difference. He stepped closer. What do you want, Ifeoma? I want to know that if I stay, I'm choosing you. Not running from danger. Not being saved. Choosing. You are. Am I? She gestured around the room. Or am I just another asset you're relocating? His jaw tightened. If that's what you think, then Jiwoo's already won. Don't put this on her. She's manipulating you. And what are you doing? The question landed like a bomb. Seoul stared at her. I'm trying to keep you alive. By making every choice for me. Because you don't understand how dangerous this is. Then explain it to me. I can't. His voice rose. Because if I tell you everything, every person who wants you dead, every way they could hurt you, every nightmare scenario I've been planning against for weeks, you'll never sleep again. So yes, I make the choices. I carry the weight. Because that's what I do for the people I love. The admission stopped her cold. You love me. Of course I love you. His voice broke. Why else would I burn my entire life to the ground? Tears spilled down her cheeks. Then trust me with the truth. The truth is that at midnight, we either leave together or we both die. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. They'll kill you too. The moment they realize you're gone and I'm still here, yes. Her knees almost gave out. Then we don't have a choice. We always have a choice. He crossed to her. Cupped her face. You can leave now. Alone. Call Emmanuel. Get on a plane. I'll make sure no one follows you. And you? I'll handle it. That's not an answer. His smile was sad. It's the only one I have. She grabbed his shirt. I'm not leaving you. Then you're staying? I don't know. She pressed her face against his chest. I don't know what to do. His arms came around her. Tight. Protective. Then let me decide. One more time. Let me get you out of here. And then, when we're safe, when the dust settles, if you want to leave, if you want to go back to your old life, I'll help you do it. But right now, I need you to trust me. She pulled back. Looked up at him. Promise me something. Anything. Promise me that if we do this, if we run, you'll give me the truth. All of it. No more secrets. No more decisions made for me. We're partners or we're nothing. He searched her eyes. Partners. Promise me. I promise. She kissed him. Tasting salt and desperation and the edge of something that felt like goodbye. Then let's go. 7 p.m. 5 hours left. They moved through the apartment like ghosts, gathering the last essentials. Seolmin made calls. Confirmed flights. Double-checked aliases. Ifeoma watched him work and wondered if this was love or survival. Maybe they were the same thing. At 9 p.m., someone knocked on the door. They both froze. Seolmin's hand went to the gun tucked in his waistband. Stay here, he said quietly. He moved to the door. Check the peephole. His entire body went rigid. Who is it? Ifeoma whispered. He didn't answer. Just opened the door. Jiwoo stood in the hallway. But she wasn't alone. Behind her, 3 men. Armed. Professional. Hello, Seolmin, Jiwoo said. Her smile was cold. Going somewhere? Time fractured. Seolmin's hand twitched toward his gun. The lead man raised his weapon. Don't. Jiwoo stepped inside. The men followed. The door closed. I tried to warn her, Jiwoo said, looking at Ifeoma. Tried to give her a way out. But she chose you. So now we do this the hard way. Seolmin's voice was ice. Let her go. Why would I do that? Because this is between us. She has nothing to do with the network. She has everything to do with it. Jiwoo's eyes were hard. You were supposed to be mine, Seolmin. We were supposed to rule together. And then you threw it all away for her. The pieces clicked into place. You still love him, Ifeoma said. Jiwoo's laugh was bitter. Love? No. I wanted power. He was my access to it. And then he met you and suddenly all his carefully laid plans started crumbling. Do you know how many people he's alienated because of you? How much territory he's lost? I didn't ask him to, you didn't have to. You just existed. And he made you the center of his universe. She turned to Seolmin, I gave you a chance. Told you to end it. Walk away from her. Keep the empire. But you refused. So you decided to kill us both, Seolmin said. I decided to take what should have been mine from the start. She nodded to the men. He's all yours. They moved fast. Seoul moved faster. The gunshot was deafening in the enclosed space. One of the men went down. Seoul grabbed Ifeoma, shoved her behind him, returned fire. Chaos erupted. Glass shattered. Someone screamed. Ifeoma hit the floor, hands over her head, world narrowing to survival. When the shooting stopped, 2 of the men were down. The third had Seoul pinned against the wall, gun to his head. Ji-woo stood over Ifeoma, weapon pointed at her chest. Drop it, the man said. Seoul's gun clattered to the floor. Good boy. Ji-woo smiled. Now we can talk. There's nothing to talk about, Seoul said. His eyes never left Ifeoma. Yes there is. Ji-woo cocked her gun. Choose. Your empire or her. Silence. Ifeoma's heart was pounding so hard she thought it might break. Choose, Ji-woo repeated. You can have everything back. All of it. The territory. The power. The network. Just walk away from her. Right now. Seoul looked at Ifeoma. Their eyes met. And she saw it. The choice. The war. The absolute certainty of what he was about to do. No, he said. Ji-woo's smile faded. What? I said no. His voice was steel. You can take the empire. You can take my life. But you don't touch her. You're willing to die for her? I already did. The moment I signed those papers. Time stopped. Ifeoma saw Ji-woo's finger tighten on the trigger. Saw Seoul lunge. Saw the muzzle flash. The bullet hit him in the chest. He went down hard. No. Ifeoma screamed. She tried to run to him. Ji-woo grabbed her, held her back. Don't worry, Ji-woo said. You'll see him soon. She raised her gun. The world went silent. And in that last second, Ifeoma looked at Seoul. Bleeding on the marble floor, eyes still locked on hers, and saw something that looked like peace. Then headlights flooded the windows. Tires screeched. Doors slammed. Men in tactical gear poured into the apartment. The police. No. Not police. Something else. The man holding Seoul let go, hands raised. Ji-woo spun, gun swinging wild. Drop the weapon. A single shot. Ji-woo fell. The gun clattered from her fingers. Ifeoma didn't wait. She ran to Seoul, dropped to her knees beside him. No, 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 I'm okay, he gasped. You're not okay. You've been shot. Vest. He tried to smile. Failed. Wearing a vest. She pressed her hands to his chest, felt the bullet lodged in Kevlar. He was right. No blood. Just impact. You idiot, she sobbed. You complete idiot. Had to sell it. His hand found hers. Had to make her believe. What? One of the tactical officers approached. Mr. Park. Ms. Willington. We need to move. Now. Ifeoma looked up. Who are you? Friends, Seoul said. He sat up, wincing. Friends I called 3 days ago. When I knew we were out of time. Understanding dawned. You planned this. I told you. Exit strategy. He stood slowly. Helped her up. Around them, the tactical team was clearing the apartment, securing the bodies, erasing evidence. The prosecutor, Ifeoma said. The one you supposedly got rid of. He wasn't a liability. He was working with you. Seoul's smile was tired. I needed to make it look real. Had to convince everyone, including you, that we were running blind. Otherwise Ji-woo would have known it was a trap. You used me as bait. I used us both. He touched her face. I'm sorry. But it was the only way to draw her out. To end this. She should have been angry. Should have felt betrayed. But all she felt was exhausted relief. Is it over? It's over. The officer cleared his throat. Sir. We need to go. The next shift arrives in 20 minutes. Seolmin nodded. Looked at Ifeoma. Last chance. You can stay. They'll protect you. Get you home safely. Or you can come with me. Not running anymore. She looked around the apartment. At the blood on the marble. At the shattered glass. At the wreckage of the last 100 days. Then she looked at him. At the man who'd signed his name to save her life. Who'd built an empire and burned it down. Who'd taken a bullet meant for her and smiled about it. He handed her an envelope. What's this? Divorce papers. Already signed. All you have to do is add your name, and you're free. Her hands shook. Seolmin, I meant what I said. I won't let you go. But I also won't trap you. He finally looked at her. So I'm giving you the choice. Sign the papers. Walk away. I'll make sure you're protected. You'll never see me again. And if I don't sign? Then marry me. Hi. Besties, if you want to know what happens when the past refuses to stay buried, part 2 is coming. Because the contract may have ended, but the real game? It's only just beginning. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what comes next.